Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Stephen here, Rab Shmuel ben Yehoshua, Rashbi in the house. So I'd like to first of all thank all those who participated in our Friday evening Amari service. It was great having you all there. I want to thank especially Jack Mangan for his guitar, and of course Alana for the violin. It was beautiful, and we are going to be doing this once every couple of weeks. And we're looking to alternate Friday, Saturday. So our next service will be after Thanksgiving, and we're going to do a Saturday morning. Now, I know some people, they like to sleep in on Saturday. Hey, we're starting at 9:30. Come at 10 o'clock. What can I tell you? We'll be starting at 9:30. It's, once every, month maybe. So, and that kind of brings up, I guess, a larger question. Where are we going with this? So we are, in my mind, at the beginning of a new congregation. I have already done some preliminary investigation to establishing a 501c3, and we're playing with the name of what we're going to call it, but we want to have a congregation that serves the Jewish community. And I know this is kind of a hot topic, but we want a congregation where people come where they can be Jews and they can enjoy being Jewish without worrying about some of the gossiping, some of the quote-unquote politics that we've dealt with. And it's not just going to be me and, the Rebbitzin and maybe my son. We want everybody participating. We want you involved. And that way we'll make sure that this is a congregation that serves your needs, the needs of the Jewish community. So where do we think this is going to go? Well, you look at it this way. There's about 500,000 people in our area, Murrieta, Temecula, Lake Elsinore, Menifee, surrounding areas, Wildomore, French Valley, et cetera, et cetera. The Jewish population of the United States is a little under 2%. Now, most of that's in the urban areas like LA, Chicago, New York, in the surrounding areas, Florida. Who could forget that, right? So let's say that maybe the Jewish population in this area is 0.5%, okay? That means there's about 2,500 Jews in the area. Can we get a congregation of 120, 150 people? I think we can, if we appeal to what you want. People want spirituality, okay? They want to come in, they want to feel good, they've had a tough week, they want to know that God's with them, they want to feel that inspiration, that they have that inner spiritual strength to face, the days and the weeks and deal with that, with the challenges of life, and that's what we want to do. So we'll be letting you know as we progress, and of course, please, we would love to invite you to come on in, see us, check us out, see what you think. Again, the next service will be Saturday. 2 weeks, well, actually a week from this Shabbat, we'll do that Saturday, and we'll have fun. We'll have fun. And the next step after we establish the congregation will be to get a Torah. Now, speaking of Torah, understand the issue came up that Jews, one of their obligations, one of the commandments, and yes, it's true, is to write a Torah. It's in Deuteronomy, and it says you will write a Torah. Now, does that mean we all have to sit down and get our pens and find some parchment and start doing? No, because it's a very specialized skill to write a Torah, and a lot of synagogues will do this. They'll hire a scribe to do it for them because the letters have to be exact. You have to have the indentations in special places. You have to have certain spaces between, and scribes know this. So in a way, you're commissioning a scribe. The same way it happens in a Brit Milah. According to tradition, according to the Torah, a father is supposed to circumcise his son. Now, part of the service, when we have the moil come in and do it, the moil says to the father, okay, would you like me to do it for you, since I'm a board certified pediatric surgeon and you can barely stay in the lines when you color, and the last thing we want to do is give you a knife and turn you loose on your young baby son's new body, right? So there's a process where the father says, yes, I allow you to, on my behalf, perform the procedure. And in the same way, we're allowing a scribe to perform the procedure. Now, how do we comply with that commandment? Well, when this is typically done, what the sage will do is they will outline a letter, and they will have people, and usually this is a fundraising idea because it costs a lot of money to do this, and person will color in the letter. And in that way, they are participating in effect of writing the Torah. A lot of sages also say that you can fulfill the commandment just by going out and buying a chumash, that you've kind of taken on a Torah. And, of course, the chumash has the commentary, the Hebrew and the English, but it's still Torah, right? So in that way, you're also fulfilling that command. So enough of that. We're into our time here. So let's get to this week's Torah portion, which is Toldot, Ele Toldot. And Toldot in the Eitz Chaim Chumash is interpreted as story. In the more traditional Chumashim, Toldot means generations. These are the generations. And we do have generations now. We have Abraham and Isaac and Abraham. So it's kind of a two-way relationship as it starts out, to show that Abraham loved his son Isaac, and Isaac loved his father Abraham. So now Isaac has Rebekah, and they are married, and Rebekah is, as usual, barren, and this sets kind of a pattern. There's a lot of that in the Torah and in the rest of the Bible too. Samson, his mother Hannah, was praying, and she was barren, and she was praying for her son, and when she got a son, Samson, she dedicated him to Hashem and made him a Nazirite for life, and he was given the strength. So here we have Rebekah praying to God, and God gave her not just one but two sons. And she had fraternal twins in her womb, and they were fighting, and this is presaging the contention that the people of Edom, which is the generations are, yes, Rome and Europe, and Yaakov, which is, it became Israel, which became our forefather. So, and there was contention between the two of them. Now, interesting enough, two things. Now, Ekev, the word Ekev, from which the word Yaakov comes, has been interpreted as heel, because Esau came out first, and Yaakov was grabbing on his heel because he wanted to come out first. He wanted that birthright instinctively as a baby. And in fact, during our morning prayers, there is verbiage in our morning prayer during the morning blessings that's done regardless of whether it's the weekday, the whole Shabbat, or whether it's a festival. It says, your firstborn son, Yaakov. I'm going to pause there and let you think about that. Firstborn, it refers to Jacob. Okay, so, and Jacob wanted to come out first, but also the word Ekev is also the Hebrew derivation of a Semitic root that means to protect. So when you put the Yud in front of Yaakov, Yaakov, you're making a future tense, the third person future tense. He will protect. So think about that. Think about that meaning of that name, Yaakov. Okay, Yaakov, he will protect. And of course, Israel, he is the progenitor of the 12 tribes that became the people Israel. So there is also the allegory of Esau and Yaakov being in the womb together, because as they're born, Esau becomes an outdoorsman, he's a hunter, and of course Jacob, sees, this is a manly man, right? He loves him, and he goes off and he gets some game, and he cooks it up and feeds it to him, his father, and he endears his father to him. Whereas Jacob was described in the Chumash as Ish Tam, a simple man. Now Tam, some of you may recognize that as Passover. We have the four sons, and the Tam, Ben Hatam, is the simple son, the one that knows not to ask. But again, we're dealing with ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew is very conceptual. It can word can mean many things, like we just discussed the word Ekev. So Tam can mean simple, like naive, innocent, or it can mean someone who is not into the whole violence thing. Jacob was more of a pastoralist. He liked to stay in the tent. Halim, he liked to study in the tents, and people say, he liked to study Torah. Some people say, was there Torah then? Yes, there's always been Torah. He liked to study. He was kind of the proverbial mama's boy. Rebekah loved, Jacob because he was so doting, because he was, a very simple, a very innocent person, good-hearted. So the idea that we have Esau and Jacob coming from the same place, from the same genes, and yet one's kind of a brute. Edom, red, right? The ruddy complexion. He was, had that temper, And Jacob, who was the simple, naive, innocent, but the good-hearted person. This is all of us. This describes us to a T. We Jews, right? We have the innocence, we have the goodness, we do mercy, we do justice, love mercy, we walk humbly with our God, according to Micah. But, I got to tell you, we also have that part of us that's Well, look at it this way. How is Israel able to fend off, Iran and Syria and Hamas and Hezbollah, all that? Because we've got that violence in us. In fact, one rabbi in the Talmud made the point of saying that if the Jews didn't have the Torah, we would have destroyed the world. Take that for what it's worth. But basically, think about it. We, remember the cartoons where you have the angel on one side, the devil on the other? That's a very Jewish concept. The Yetzer Hara, the evil force, and the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. And that's kind of the idea, the lesson from Esau and Jacob. So we all want to be more like Yaakov. We want to be more children of Israel rather than emulate Esau, which we are, and we're children of Israel. So I'll leave you with that. Shabbat Shalom again. Thank you to those that came. We'll keep you in the loop. We'll have a service at this point next week, a week and a half. I release this on Wednesdays, a week and a half on that Saturday, and look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. And